it's Jill from the Cozy Company, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make this Chunky Knit Cancer Ribbon Awareness Pillow. This is a beginner-friendly project that uses less than 1 skein of yarn, making it quick, meaningful, and budget-friendly craft. If you'd like written instructions to follow along with this tutorial, you'll find a link to the pattern in the description below. 100% of the proceeds from the written pattern will be donated to the National Breast Care Foundation to help support their incredible mission. Whether you're making this pillow for yourself, a loved one, or to help raise awareness, thank you so much for crafting with me. And let's get started. So I'm going to be using this pink yarn today to make a breast cancer awareness pillow, but this cancer awareness pillow can be really used in any color to help raise awareness for any type of cancer. So to get started, we want to find the end of our tail. We're going to leave a tail that is about 5 to 6 inches long. And we want to start by making a slip knot. So to do that, we're actually going to make a loop very similar to the breast care awareness symbol, where we want the tail laying on top. So again, we're just making a loop similar to the breast care awareness symbol, where the tail is just simply laying on top. We're then going to take the yarn, the working yarn, and we're going to put it up and through that loop that we just created. So I'm taking the yarn that's attached to my ball of yarn, and I'm going to put it through that loop we just created. I'm going to grab it with one hand, and I'm going to pull down on the tail at the same time to tighten. Now I like to make my loop sizes pretty small, so I'm just pulling on the working yarn so I can make that loop about 2 fingers width wide. And this is our slip knot. So once we have our slip knot, we're going to create our foundation chain. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our thumb and our pointer, and we're going to put it through this loop. We're going to go from the top of the table down towards the bottom of the table. And we want to put our thumb and our pointer through the loop. And with those 2 fingers, we want to grab and pinch the working yarn to pull up a new loop the same size, about 2 fingers wide. We have now created a chain of 2. We want a chain of 5. So to do that, we're going to do the same thing through this new loop. Again, I'm going to take my thumb and my pointer. I'm going to put it through that loop, going from the top of the table down towards the bottom of the table. I'm going to grab and pinch that working yarn to pull up another loop the same size. That's a chain of 3. And we want 5. So I'm going to do that 2 more times. So thumb and pointer through the loop. With your thumb and pointer, you're going to grab and pinch the working yarn to pull up another loop the same size. And we're going to do that 1 more time. So we now have a chain of 5. We want to create this chain of 5 into a circle. So in order to do that, we are going to take this tail and we're going to fold it in half. So that way the tail is on the table and the loop that we just did is sitting right on top of it. We want to find the space that's right underneath that loop on our foundation chain. So right where my finger is pulling through. So not the loop itself, but right underneath it, you'll find a small space, and that's where we want to insert the tail. So we want to go from the back towards the front and push that tail through and pull all the way until your foundation chain is now in a circle. For row 1, we want to pull up loops on our foundation chain. So I'm going to be working towards the right. So as you can see here, I have this loop sticking up, and I want to move my foundation chain to the right to find the bump or the twist, if you will, in the foundation chain right next to that loop. So not the one right behind it, which is here, but the one right next to it where I'm sticking my finger through. With my working yarn, I want to take my thumb and my pointer. I'm going to put it through that bump like this. I'm going to grab and pinch the working yarn to pull up another loop the same size. These ones we want about 1 finger width wide. So I have 2 loops. I'm then going to work towards the right again to find the next bump, which is right here where my finger's sticking through. And I'm going to repeat. I'm going to take my thumb and my pointer, put it through that bump, grab and pinch that working yarn to pull up another loop. And I'm going to do that 1 last time. So that way at the end of row 1, I have a total of 4 loops sticking out that are all about 1 finger width wide. Now, from here, we just want to knit these 4 loops for 26 more rows. So to do that, I'm going to find my very next loop, and I'm going to do the same thing where I put my thumb and my pointer through from the outside towards the inside. I'm going to grab and pinch that working yarn to pull up a loop that's about 1 finger width wide. And then towards the right, going to find my next loop and do the same thing. Take my thumb and my pointer, put my finger through, grab and pinch the working yarn to pull up another loop. I'm going to continue that for the next 2 loops. So I've now completed my row. So we've just done 2 rows together. We want to do 25 more rows of 4. So you want to do 25 rows of 4, or if you prefer just counting the number of loops, you want to knit for 100 more loops. So I'm going to go ahead and knit these 4 loops for 25 more rows, and then I will meet you back here. Make sure to stay consistent as possible with your loop sizes. You want them about 1 finger width wide. So now that we've completed 25 more rows, or to 100, we are going to close off the top here. So in order to do that, I'm going to find the loop where my yarn is sticking out of and the loop directly next to it, and I want to sandwich these 2 loops together. So again, I'm taking the loop where my yarn is sticking out of and the very next loop next to it, and I'm going to sandwich those 2 loops together, and I want to pull up a loop through both. So those 2 loops just became 1. I'm then going to find the next 2 loops, so my loop to my left and the loop right behind it, and I want to sandwich those 2 loops together. So I'm putting my finger through both of those loops, and I want to take my working yarn and pull up a loop through both. So now I'm left with 2 loops. And from here, I'm going to cast off. So I'm going to take the loop on the right, and I want to put it over the loop on the left. So the loop on the left is going to go through the whole of the loop on the right, like this. I'm then going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut my working yarn, leaving a short tail. I'm going to insert this tail through the back of this loop, right here, and I'm going to pull until that loop fastens on itself. We want to go ahead and just weave this into the pillow so it can't be seen, because this is going to be the bottom portion of our awareness pillow. So I'm just weaving it in and I'm going to tuck it in. So this is the bottom. So I'm then going to flip my project around. So this was our foundation tail where we first started. We want to go ahead and fold this top portion in half like this to make the top portion of the awareness symbol. So again, this is our foundation chain where we first started. This is our 6-inch tail, and I'm just simply grabbing it in the middle here and I'm folding that top portion in half. So it creates the top part of that Cancer awareness pillow. So with this foundation chain, I just want to attach it to this portion, the inside portion of the Cancer awareness ribbon pillow, by weaving this through both the bottom portion of the pillow and then the foundation chain where we first started. So I'm just going to whip stitch, which basically just means weaving it back and forth to securely attach those 2 parts. So I'm just going to go back and forth between this portion of the Cancer awareness pillow and the top part until they're securely attached, like that. And then I'm just going to tie this in a knot so we know for sure it won't come undone. And I'm gonna do a double knot if I can, just to make sure it's extra secure. And then I'm just gonna tuck that in. So now our top portion of our cancer awareness pillow is done. So we are looking like this. With our working yarn, we want to pull up 4 loops on this side of the cancer awareness pillow so that it aligns with this loop that we have to continue going downward. So you can use your best judgment, but I'm going to probably pull up my loops here and here. So we want 4 loops. So I'm going to do 1, 2, and then I'm going to do the back side of where I just pulled up. 3 and 4. So it looks like this. So this is a side view. This is the front view. So as you can see, I have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And it kind of aligns right where we were working on so that the awareness pillow can continue going this way. I'm just going to tie this tail to my working yarn to make sure it stays nice and secure. And I'm going to insert that tail into that pillow. So we have these 4 loops. We want to knit these 4 loops for 7 more rows. So we're just going to knit these 4 loops for 7 rows, or a total of 28. So now that we have knit for 7 more rows, or a total of 28 loops, we want to do the same thing that we did here, but here. And what that was sandwiching the 2 loops together and pulling up a loop through both. So right here is where the last loop I did was, so I want to find the loop right next to it, and I'm going to push them together so my fingers through both, and I'm going to push the yarn through both loops so it creates 1 loop. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my next 2 loops. I'm going to sandwich them together, and using my working yarn, I'm going to pull up a loop through both of them so that way those 2 loops become 1. And then I'm going to cast off. So I'm going to take this first loop that I did and I'm going to put it over the second loop like this. So first loop goes over the second loop. And we have 1 loop left. I'm then going to take my scissors and cut my working yarn, leaving a short tail. And I'm going to insert that tail through the back of this loop like this. And I'm going to pull gently but firmly until that ties on itself. And then I'm just going to do 1 more knot, so I know it's nice and secure. And then I'm going to insert this tail into the pillow so it can't be seen. And here we have our super easy cancer awareness pillow. Now feel free to make this any size that you'd like. You just have to adjust the number of rows you're doing. So for example, you could start with a foundation chain of 7 and do 6 loops for, let's say, 30 rows or so. But just so you know, if you decide to do a larger cancer awareness pillow, you may have to use some polyfill stuffing for it to keep its shape. But the technique would remain the same no matter what size pillow that you choose to do. You can make it really, really large if you want to. Again, just make sure you account for filling it with polyfill as you go. It may not be able to hold itself up. This yarn's really thick, so it's a small project, so there's not any need for polyfill on this size. But just be aware that if you choose to make a larger size, that you may need to use polyfill. Again, if you prefer the written instructions, feel free to check out the link in the description below. And again, all proceeds made from the written instructions will go directly towards the National Breast Care Awareness Foundation as a donation. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure to subscribe, comment, like, or save for more video tutorials in the future.